varieties and the germplasm developed at this station are used throughout the world.
Of course, we always look to the station for these new varieties that make more rice per acre.
The rice industry in southwest Louisiana would not have survived if it had not been for the Rice Research Station.
In the 1880s, newly built railroads had shuttled wheat farmers from the Midwest down to the southwestern prairies of Louisiana to grow rice. They had successfully adapted their implements to this novel crop. And as the 20th century began, the Louisiana rice boom was on. But disease, weeds, and insects quickly threatened this nation-leading rice culture.
We have the highest disease pressures anywhere in the country, so we've always had challenges that the other states do not have.
There was a very real need to have better varieties and better germplasm. So we had a number of leading producers that got together, purchased a small amount of land, had some land donated, and suggested that they would donate the land to the experiment station if a research station could be established and developed there.
The LSU Agricultural Experiment Station agreed, and in 1909 it began research on 60 acres in Crowley, Louisiana. This joint venture with the USDA was not only the first rice experiment station in America, but the first of its kind in the entire Western Hemisphere. 100 years later, the LSU AgCenter's Rice Research Station, as it's known today, has more than 1,000 acres and is known as one of the premier rice research facilities in the world.
Since this station was established, there have been 42 new improved varieties released over 100 years. And each one of those varieties probably was a milestone. Some of them had a bigger impact than others.
Developing rice varieties that continue to satisfy the needs of growers, millers, and consumers is a complex and daunting challenge. But through the years, the Rice Station has done intense varietal crossbreeding to create many successful varieties like Magnolia, Saturn, NATO, and Cypress.
I remember when I first started farming rice, we'd make under 20 barrels to the acre. When we make 20 barrels to the acre, we thought we had a great crop. Then when we planted NATO, we suddenly were able to make 30 barrels to the acre. When Saturn was developed by Dr. Jodan, we were making 40 barrels to the acre.
If I were a rice breeder 40 years ago, I would be lucky to have 4,000 breeding rows. Today, with the new planting systems we have, our breeding area here on the station today is over 100,000 breeding rows to come up with the superior varieties.
In 2001, the LSU AgCenter revolutionized rice production by releasing Clearfield, the world's first herbicide-resistant line, a kind of antidote to one of rice's greatest enemies, red rice. The results of this Clearfield technology have not only been higher yields and better quality, but also a significant conservation of soil and water.
But the varieties developed from this station over the past 15 years have been, depending on the year, grown on 60 to 70% of the southern U.S. rice acreage. So I think that speaks to the quality of these varieties.
Continuing the tradition of Seaman A. Knapp, the man who first popularized rice growth and research in Louisiana, the LSU AgCenter's Rice Research Station has depended on top scientists for successful results. People like USDA scientist J. Mitchell Jenkins, the station's first superintendent, as well as many highly acclaimed researchers after him. Superintendent Duke Faulkner furthered research on milling and storage and first perfected water leveling techniques. Legendary rice breeders like Nelson Jodan have developed extremely successful varieties. Innovations in weed control by researchers like Dr. John Baker and groundbreaking fertilization research completed by R.J. Myers and his predecessors have also kept the rice station at the forefront.
And now Steve Linscomb, who actually came up through the rice industry and is probably one of the most renowned rice breeders, rice scientists in the world.
The scientists that were domiciled there, the first superintendent and rice breeder, were actually U.S. Department of Agricultural scientists. And the USDA had a very strong presence here at the Rice Research Station up until about 10 years ago.
Besides developing varieties that hold up well against the onslaught of disease, insects, and weeds, the station has played a key role in testing protective crop chemicals.
Most of the herbicides, the insecticides, the fungicides that our producers use are available because of research that has been conducted by our scientists here on this station. A lot of the new technology, the fertilization of rice, how we plant rice, seeding rates, any number of different agronomic production practices have been developed here at the research station.
For much of the 20th century, rice farmers raised beef cattle on their fallow fields. The rice station had replicated those same field conditions for studies. But in the 60s, as rice farmers moved away from cattle, the rice station began studying crawfish. Now the station's crawfish research is one of the largest and most significant of its kind in the world.
Crawfish production has evolved really over the last 40 years to be a major player in southern Louisiana, and it fits in very well with our rice production.
After World War II, rice leaders had asked the Rice Experiment Station to come up with pure seed stock of popular varieties. That was the start of the Foundation Seed Rice Program, which has been in high demand ever since, distributing some 20 million pounds of seeds to producers.
Foundation Seed Program is a very vital part of what we do here at the Rice Research Station. If we have a new rice variety, we need to have a mechanism for getting the initial seed out to the industry, as well as producing and maintaining seed as long as that variety is viable.
Another key to success has been strong extension work. The outreach has been effective and has created trust from farmers. In the early 70s, rice producers showed their gratitude by helping fund research at the station.
I think I'm correct. That was the first rice research checkoff in the United States at the rice station in Crowley, Louisiana, where the farmers dedicated part of their sales from their production of rice to be used in rice research.
Really, the success ratio has been very high on everything that the LSU AgCenter has recommended to farmers as being good agricultural practices.
The farmers support the LSU Rice Research Station. They support it by doing the technologies that are advocated by the station and proven in research.
If new technology is developed here at the station and we don't have extension to get the information out to our producers, then it's probably not going to be utilized near to the extent that it should be.
They come to the field days in great numbers to listen and hear what both research and extension have to say.
Today, scientists at the LSU AgCenter's Rice Research Station continue to improve the quality of rice production in Louisiana and throughout the world.
I think ultimately this research station has a very good reputation, not only here in the United States, but on an international basis.
I believe the Louisiana Rice Research Station ranks #1, nationally and internationally, and that's because of the continued improvement of technologies by good researchers who are dedicated towards serving the Louisiana rice industry.